evening, televiewers of M4 Television. Thanks once more for joining us on this another edition of your program, Game of Thrones, here in Yaoundé on M4 Television. Of course, today we'll be talking about two major topics that are hitting the airwaves across the country, which of course focuses on the continuous detention of Ayok Tabe. Is it a solution to resolve the Anglophone crisis? And of course, our second topic during this program will be focusing on the regional election, as no woman was being elected as president of these regional councils in the country. Of course, is it another form of exclusion or a coincidence? This, of course, will be what we'll be treating in the course of this program. And with us, we have a plethora of panelists, intelligent and are willing to dish out what you guys are expecting from them. Of course, there are 4 of them, and some of them will be joining us in the course of this program. But presently, we have 2 major panelists, and on my left, which of course is somebody that you are going to welcome in the course of this program, is no other person than Geraldine Takere. She is also a member of the CPDM party, and also she was being appointed by President Paul Biya as a member of the Special Commission, or a delegate of the Special Commission to man activities during the presidential election that just ended in Cameroon. She is no other person than Geraldine Takere. Good evening and welcome to the program.
Good evening.
It's a pleasure to have you once more on this set, and we know Cameroonians, of course, are perceiving your face and your energy for the first time. It's a pleasure having you, and I want to believe that you're going to digest some of the topics, or the topics that will be treated in the course of this program.
Of course, I'm going to digest all the topics very well.
Thank you very much, Geraldine Takere, for being with us. And on my left, we have a civil society activist. He's no other person than Numfo Lawson Ngwa. Good evening and welcome to the program once more.
Good evening, Phil. Good evening, my dear sister. Happy to meet you for the first time. And congratulations on your appointment by President Paul Biya. I would like to start this program by, conjuring scriptures. The topic that you have put on discussion is very sensitive and very impacting. And I want to thank you and thank the management of M4 TV for bringing up this topic, because it deals with the life of our nation. The scripture text I want to quote, it comes from Matthew chapter 5 verse 9, which says, and I quote, "Happy are those who work for peace, God will call them his children." That is from Matthew chapter 5 verse 9. And then we have Psalms 133, which says, how nice is it for God's people to live in harmony and unity. It's like the anointing oil flowing from Aaron's head, running down his beard, down to his robe. It is like the dew from Mount Hermon, falling on Mount Zion. That is where God will bestow his blessings. I think this is the scriptural and spiritual foundation on which I would like this wonderful program to be predicated.
Thank you, Numfo Lawson Ngwa, a civil society activist, for your wonderful elaboration. We just want to believe that today is going to be hot. It's going to be a heated debate. Just stay glued to your TV channel, and as we unfold with this wonderful program tonight. Of course, we have another panelist. He's a communicator from the SDF opposition political party in Cameroon. He's no other person than Chi Dieudonné. Welcome to the program and good evening, Chi.
Good evening, dear brother. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year in advance to you and to my co-panelist, with whom I am honored to share this panel today. I want to wish a very happy Merry Christmas and prosperous New Year 2026 in advance to all our televiewers, to the great family of the Social Democratic Front. My thoughts particularly go to the people of Lekumba, who were victims of a ghastly fire accident. I want to use this opportunity to add my voice to that of the national chairman of the Social Democratic Front, Honorable Joshua Osi, who led a high-level delegation to extend the empathy of the Social Democratic Front to the affected families who want to renew this message of empathy and to continue telling the people that we stand with them in this very, very sad moment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, T.G. Jedone. Of course, you were not that healthy enough for the past weeks and the past days, but we thank God that, of course, everything is okay. Thank you very much, televiewers. Of course, I will divert to our topic. Of course, we have another panelist who will be joining us in the course of the program. But before we go directly to what we have for you tonight, let's do have this transition, and we'll be back in a jiffy. Favorite darling television channel in Cameroon, Info TV, and we move directly to our first topics of the day, which of course is talking about the continuous detention of Ayoka Tabe, the alleged separatist leader. Is it going to resolve, or is it a solution to resolve the Anglophone crisis? Of course, we have a lady with us. She's Geraldine Takere, and she's going to, of course, elaborate on this particular issue. I'll commence with you, Geraldine Takere. You've been working with the party in power for years. You've been into politics for years in Cameroon. You are one of President Paul Biya's favorite. You've produced a lot when it comes to politics, and also making sure that Cameroon do remain stable in its entirety. Now today we see the separatist leader, or alleged separatist leader. He's under detention for years now, since 2018, as a political advocate, as a politician, as somebody who advocates for peace over the years, for over 35 years in the country. Now, do you think his continuous detention is going to be a solution to stability or total serenity in the north and the southwest regions of Cameroon?
Thank you, sir. I would like to express myself as a mother and as a politician. What I will first of all tell you is that, yes, I congratulate our President Paul Biya for the unity and peace that he has been doing all his best that we should live like. We should live in peace and unity. I congratulate him for that. The problem of this NASO, I believe that our president, that's my own opinion, should peacefully release them. If he peacefully release them and come to a
consensus, that's what you're trying to tell Cameroonians.
Come to a peaceful, he should peacefully release them and come to a negotiation.
When you talk about negotiation, what kind of negotiation are you expecting that the government of Cameroon, which is fighting against terrorism and tension, should undergo in order to make sure that those followers of his can be appeased?
They should, for me, I believe that they should peacefully release them and carefully have a negotiation to see how they can sit and talk about this issue. I think peace will reign if they do it.
Thank you very much, Geraldine Tekere, for such an elaboration. I just want to believe that you've been there with the president, and the president, of course, of Cameroon. You're talking about President Paul Biya in power, actually knows you so very well, because you've been working tirelessly to make sure that Cameroon attain the peace, prosperity, and tranquility that it do harbors at this moment. I'll commence with you. I'll come back to you, a civil society activist, Ngwa Lawson. You are somebody, you began, you saw everything that operated or started in 2016, 2017 in Cameroon, and we are talking about the northwest and the southwest region. Until date, you see that things are not the way it was in the past. Today, we just saw recently, 4 days ago, how the alleged separatist leader was being taken from the detention center at the Kundengi Central Prison to the Supreme Court, and he has been sentenced with a life imprisonment by the military court in Cameroon. Now, this continues a detention of this alleged separatist leader. Do you think it is a way forward, and do you think it has been a solution to the issues that has been troubling the North and the Southwest?
Thank you, Phil. I would like to commence this first part of our program by, first of all, greeting all those who have been incarcerated as a result of the Anglophone crisis since 2016. I want to greet them and to invoke God's Spirit. The God we serve is a God of justice, a God of mercy. That for the sake of a one united and indivisible Cameroon that lives in peace, all those incarcerated as a result of the Anglophone crisis should be released, because Cameroon is a family. Our nation is like...
But do you think that the government of Cameroon or the authorities that are warranting peace and stability to continue reigning in the country should release somebody after being, according to allegations, was there to instigate violence and was, of course, he left the country according to facts. He left the country and was being extradited from Nigeria to Cameroon and is facing the law and has been making utterances that do violate the rules and regulations or the laws of the land. And he has been accused of terrorism. Do you think somebody of this magnitude should be allowed roaming the streets of Cameroon just because of the fact that Cameroonians want peace?
Thank you. You know, these guys were arrested in 2018 in Abuja, Nigeria, in what became known as the Naira 10 incident, and they were arrested and with the complicity or with the collaboration of the Nigerian government, they were flown back to Cameroon, where in 2019 they were judged and then sentenced to life imprisonment on charges of terrorism and secession. I want to make it clear here, Phil, that these brothers are political prisoners. And being prisoners of conscience, you know, our country is going through a socio-political conflict that has its origin from 1961. And what happened in 2016 was, you know, a logical conclusion of all the grievances that English-speaking Cameroonians have been expressing against our government. So I believe that
must you express yourself by vandalizing state properties, things that and I, Cameroonians, taxpayers, contributed to develop the country?
No, they did not vandalize state property. They were caught in Nigeria in a hotel and brought back to Cameroon because they, on the October 1, 2017, they declared the independence of a part of Cameroon. If we want to go memory lane down history, I don't want to go back to the facts, but if you go down memory lane in history, you will see that at one moment these our brothers were right. Because if you look at the political history of our country, what triggered the crisis in 2016 was the immediate consequence of the constitutional amendment of 1984, which changed the name of this country, and it made Anglophones become angry and felt that they were no longer part of this country. So instead of seeing them as criminals, to me they are not criminals, they are prisoners of conscience. Instead of seeing them as criminals, we should open up and dialogue with them and ask them, why do you think that you need your own country? Let us dialogue with them. You know, the United Nations Commission for Arbitration and, you know, the United Nations Commission has, with the Federal Court of Abuja, ruled that that arrest in Nigeria in 2019 was illegal.
Lawson,
yes.
That is, of course, an international body. We know that we have a ratification. Cameroon ratified some of the agreements, both Cameroon and Nigeria, when it concerns this particular aspect concerning human rights. But look at it from this perspective. They were being, of course, detained in some years ago, like 8 years ago, and today you see that things are no longer the way it was when they were being arrested and detained. We see how activities, economic activities, are unfolding in the north and the southwest calmly, and we see how people are going back to their normal activities. Children are going back to school. This actually was not what was existing before his arrest. Don't you think this has been a slight solution to the problem?
In arresting, the government thought that they were going to solve the problem by, you know, when a crisis, when a group like that starts bringing problems, and the ringleaders are caught. The government thought that by arresting the ringleaders, they were going to put an end to the separatists or to the Homeland Project. But it was 9 years on counting. The project is still going on. Ayok Tabe and the co are still enjoying a lot of support from Anglophone Cameroonians, which means that the solution is not keeping them in detention. The solution lies in an inclusive, sincere, reconciliatory dialogue without preconditions. Listen to them, ask them why they want secession. It is not because they bring secession on the table of discussion that at the end of the day there must be secession. We are in a family. In every family we have people who are disgruntled about the way things are done. And if they are disgruntled, you don't just have to throw them because they are expressing their views. Let us allow them, let us go on a dialogue table and ask them why they want secession. Then allow them to unburden their minds and speak. At the end of the day, there will be a solution.
Thank you very much, Angwa Lawson, for that edification. I'll come to you, Achi Jodone, communicator with the SDF party. This leader continuously making statements that he will maintain his stance by supporting the virtual state of the Amazonia. Today, you are from the opposition. You enjoy peace and stability and tranquility in Cameroon, and you're in Yaoundé with your family. Do you think that the decision from the head of state, from the government rather, of Cameroon, and from the legal standpoint, it was actually necessary to keep him in detention for peace to reign in the north and the southwest?
Well, I want to first of all state that I am not enjoying peace and tranquility, as you put it, because a lot of us are more of IDPs than normal Cameroonians who can go about their daily activities all over Cameroon, starting with our regions of origin. I, for example, from the northwest. I think I have been very elaborate about what is happening in the northwest and southwest regions with respect to the drama that you people saw with the presidential elections that came. I've been saying it that we can see that we had a lot of
the peace that you are enjoying here in Yaoundé is not as the same as those who are enjoying in the north and the southwest in certain areas.
Please, I think we deserve better. We deserve better. We need a holistic solution to the problem we are facing. And that problem cannot be addressed by moving people to one part of the country and they'll be running like rats when they come and stay here. You think that they are feeling fine when they cannot feel free to go back to their homes. When, as we're talking, they still kidnap people every day. People, they still kill people. People cannot go about their daily activities. When, as we're talking, every Monday is ghost town. While you here in Yaoundé is going about their activities on Monday, somebody who is in the northwest and southwest in the majority of the localities are unable to go about their own activities. While you here in Yaoundé is moving around with your car with a Semak number plate. In the northwest and southwest regions, people move around with chassis number plates.
Was that the cause?
You cannot. I'm coming. I'm coming. I just wanted to demo. I'm coming to this because you said I'm enjoying peace and tranquility, and I want to tell you that all is not well. All is not well with me. That is what I'm saying. All is not well with me. It may be well with you, but all is not well with me. So I want to also congratulate my mother from the CPDM for this communication of the heart, that she was courageous enough to air out Because I have the impression that a lot of people have removed their heart and have put stones. Those that govern this country are governing with a heart of stone. They govern like they are not human beings. I've been asking myself the question. Please, I've been asking myself the question.
It is very
if the child of the head of state was killed in the northwest,
it is very
if the child of the head of state was killed in the northwest,
in Cameroon,
and what was happening today was happening in the south. We saw how uprisings have come up in the south, and we saw how they have been handled. If all this was happening and the children of the ministers were the ones being killed in the military, we will still be talking the way we are talking today? They would have resolved this problem, sir. They secure their children, secure themselves, and allow the children of the poor people. That's why Mama is crying. I'm sure maybe she's not having the same privileges like them, or probably even if she's having the same privileges like them, she exceptionally is demonstrating some humanity. That is, she has a heart that feels for children as a mother. Why is it that young people have to be dying because of an old man like President Bolbia at his age? It does not honor him. And it should stop. Somebody somewhere should say it, that it should stop. Why is it that somebody like President Bolbia can be in activity and his children are dying in the northwest and southwest regions, and up to today he has never gone there to see why his children are dying? In the northwest he said he was in second home. He has never gone there to see why his children are dying.
There's this saying that says age is just a number, and of course there is Cameroonian voted for him to remain in power. And I just want to come to your...
We don't stay in power for staying sake. We don't stay in power for staying sake. What is happening to Cameroon is a big disgrace. In fact, we have sought shame and brought disgrace. It's a big disgrace on the President of the Republic that at this time, at his age, being the eldest, the longest serving president in the world, his country, the future of the country is dying. The young people are dying. Why are they dying? And I want to come on it now.
There is a law in Cameroon that, of course, a law on terrorism in the country. And what these laws clearly tells us that if you're being, of course, caught or you're being charged of this particular offense in the country, it is very obvious that the penalty is supposed to be a death penalty. But you come to discover that based on the allegations against this separatist leader, alleged separatist leader rather, you come to discover that the authorities, the judicial authorities, have made it possible so that there should be, instead of a murder case or maybe a death penalty, there should be rather a life imprisonment. And this, of course, is another way to make other Cameroonians understand that the state is a state of law. Now, do you think with the continuous detention of Ayok Tabe back there has really actually come to a standpoint, has really actually bring back or reinstate the peace? Because now in the southwest, schools are going on in certain areas and in the northwest.
All right. I want to state that the problem in the northwest and southwest regions, we call it a so-called Anglophone problem today, or the problem of the northwest and southwest regions, because they are the ones standing forth. They are the ones leading it. The real issue that is at stake is an issue of restoring the dignity of a people. That people live as human beings in their own country, feel properly treated. This is what is at stake in the northwest and southwest. And I want to tell you that, and those that are listening to us, and the powers that be, and those that are still very faithful to the President of the Republic, when you have an issue like this, you cannot resolve it by putting some people in prison. And you cannot also resolve it by selecting some people from those oppressed groups and giving them some privileges. Because this is what we have been seeing. When it comes up like that, they take some people and give them privileges, and they think that they are
under detention.
They take people and put in prison. Please.
He's not tortured. He's under detention.
I'm not saying he's tortured.
I'm not saying he's tortured.
No, I'm not
human rights possibilities of the law.
We are not in the law court here, sir. I've not come to comment the conditions of detention. I am saying that such a problem that has got to do with the dignity of the people flows in the blood. It does not stop until it is properly addressed. And I will take you memory lane. Fongodi Dinka, in 1984, after President Bolbia unilaterally changed the name of Cameroon. When up in 1985, I said, no, they too, they are now independent as Ambazonia. They said, all right, they catch him and put him in prison. They tried him, and later on he was released, and then he went to exile. They thought that it was over. because he's no longer there. And even before he came, the Fonchas and the Bernard Fonlongs and others were frustrated, and they wrote letters. Foncha wrote a letter of frustration and went. An actor was out of the scene. They thought that because he was out of the scene, the problem has died. He didn't die. Ebenezer Akwanga was arrested in 1997, and after some, legal brouhaha all over, he finally found himself in exile. No, they thought that no, the leaders have been put out of the limelight, everything is okay. A lot of Cameroonians who are today in exile, who cannot come to Cameroon today, they think that by keeping them abroad, they are solving the problem. They think that by trying people abroad, they think that by trying people abroad, by trying and locking the prison, they are solving the problem.
Some of these people decided to leave the country, leave the borders of Cameroon, and seek asylum elsewhere. Nobody sent them there.
They seek asylum elsewhere because they seek to address the problem of their dignity.
Why didn't they stay to maintain, to continue conserving the state and the integrity of the state, and not flood into another country and creating
it is logical to understand. It is logical to understand that sometimes when you are in a family and you are struggling for a problem to be solved, and that problem is not being solved, and you find that you are suffocating, sometimes you need to run out. And some people have thought that since we don't want to address the issue of our dignity as a people, as Cameroon, then it's better we go apart and govern ourselves properly as another country. It's legitimate to think so, sir. It's legitimate to think so. And we are saying that the fact that some people think that Cameroon should be separated is not the problem. It is an opportunity for people who think that Cameroon should be united, like myself, to bring in concrete arguments and actions to defend the unity of Cameroon and bring in what we call functional unity. It is Senator von Victor Mukete, who is a member of the CPDM, who said it, and I call it his dying political declarations, that the unity of Cameroon is not functional. And how is unity functional? Unity is functional when it permits each and everybody to feel like they belong, to enjoy equitably their country. It is not working like that, sir. And imprisonment has not stopped. Like I have said, you cannot imprison some few people or give some few people privileges and think that an issue that has got to do with the dignity of a people will stop. When Godi Dinka was put into prison and later on released, people were not dying. We were not at the level at which we are today. When they were doing that, we had never seen the kind of march we had in 2017 when the population came out massively to say, no, enough is enough. You are only crying terrorism, terrorism. We are suffering. There is a problem here. They came out to speak. And up till today, and I'm telling you, if this problem is not addressed, the problem must be addressed in future, because the battle you avoid to face today, you will live to face that battle tomorrow. The battle is an issue. It is an issue to restore the dignity of the people. And we must restore that dignity with a heart of love by talking to one another. And before I conclude, I just want to say the position of the SDF on this issue is clear. We are favorable for the release of political prisoners, granting of amnesty, and creating every condition necessary for Cameroonians to sit and talk to one another from the heart.
Thank you.
Because if we talk to one another from the brains, it's not going to work. We have to talk in a way that we feel one another, and to say that an issue for which blood has flown, we know the amount of blood that has flown about this issue. People should not just think and take it lightly and think that one day
Thank you very much.
The head of state has to take his responsibility.
Thank you, Chididone. Thank you for your kind intervention. And Frank, we'll come back to you, Takere Geraldine. It is very obvious that you are, of course, with the party in power, and you've done a lot when it concerns peace promotion in Cameroon, and you are among those women in politics in Cameroon that President Paul Biya appreciate very much, due to their effort in terms of philanthropy, in terms of a lot of stuff that Cameroonians do acknowledge today. Now, when you see what is ongoing, you are from also the Northwest region.
Yes.
When you see things that are unfolding today, do you think that the Northwest and the Southwest region today do embrace and do entertain and do witness and do conserve peace, thanks to the fact that the government or the authorities that be are taking stringent measures to overcome these issues, or avoiding people who are perpetrating violence through other channels, and the detention of this leader, who, of course, there are so many people who are appreciating his outburst? is a solution?
No. What I would tell my colleague is that Bia has done a lot for us. Bia is not a devilish somebody. He's a father that wants unity and peace. Bia have tried a lot to bring dialogue for this problem of Anglophones and North and Southwest. We have sent elite, a lot of elite in Northwest and Southwest to go and sit down and have a peaceful dialogue and come back and give him the feedback. Bia is spending right now a lot of money in Norwest, particularly about 300 billion to calm this situation for a year. Bia is spending a lot in Southwest, about 200 million to calm down this situation. Bia having age is a wisdom. He's a wisdom. He has done a lot for us. He has created hospitals. He has given us university. He has given us hospitals. He has created a condom. He has given us university. He has given us everything.
And this is thanks to the peace effort, that he has been implementing, and that's why all these things are functioning. That's what you're telling us.
Yes, and if we go about burning those things, who are the loser? It's us that will suffer, because he has given us everything. So the only way to solve this problem is not to have this violence. We are killing and treating our own self, running our own country to come back to Yaoundé. We don't need to come here. Let's stay in our country. Why can we not go back to Bamenda or to Southwest? Because most of Anglophones have understood this problem right now. We understood that this is just destruction. It's not helping us. Most has understood. If we can go for election while winning Norwest and South, it means we accept Bia. That is a peaceful somebody. It's a man of unity. He wants us to live like one Cameroon. The only way to solve this problem, we have to dialogue peacefully and have a peaceful negotiation to release our brother. If it is just violence, nothing will be solved. I, as a mother, am not happy to see them sitting there. No. But if we calm down ourselves, because things have changed. Children have been sitting there. They don't go to school in hours. They are having pregnancy. They are smoking drugs. They are going astray because of all this nonsense. So if we can have a peaceful negotiation and dialogue, I think this matter will end, and we release our brother from that jail.
Thank you very much, Geraldine Takere, a CPDM, of course, a member. And I will come to you, Lawson Anumfo. You have been agitating, going left and right, meaning you do not entertain some of the declarations of the various panelists. Now, I'll put this into you. Now, he is, of course, in detention, and others, of course, 9 of them, also including Ayok Tabe, they are in detention. And when you look at the Northwest and the Southwest regions, and even other parts of the country today, you come to discover that during the crisis, a lot of people left those 2 regions, and they are now residing in other regions. This is another aspect of telling you that they do cherish their country. They are not, some of them are not out of the countries like others who seek asylum elsewhere, and saying that there is violence and there is a war in Cameroon, but they seek to decide or to seek refuge in neighboring regions today. Don't you think that, of course, as he said, one of our panelists, seeking refuge in this area, going there to stay in peace, has been their main source of happiness, and wanting this peace to come and stay permanently in the country or in the Southwest and the Northwest? Some of those people who are considered as promoter of violence should be kept where they are supposed to be kept.
Fear that what you are saying is very dangerous. In as much as national unity and national integration is a good concept, but national unity and national integration should not be done through a violent method. It should not be done because there is a war going on. You know, when you talk about Northwesterners and Southwesterners leaving their region and settling in other parts of Cameroon, they are doing so under duress. They are not doing so out of their own free will. It is because of a war. It seems as if one has the impression that the war was provoked so that people should leave their areas in the northwest and southwest regions and settle in other areas and start doing, slave labor. Because that is what one of the reasons why the
war when you talk about when you insist on that, of course, Cameroon we have diversity in cultural aspects in the country, yes. And there are some people in the northwest that do have relations in the western region. It is thanks to colonial rule that Cameroonians, some of them do find themselves somewhere else. And because of the aspect or the presence of French and English, some people believe that Cameroonians are
how I wish
divided.
We had a long
but Cameroon
time.
Is not divided.
No, Cameroon is not divided. How I wish we had a long time to talk about this issue. Before the coming of the Germans, the French and the English in this country, Cameroonians from north, south, east, west had always been living together. It is not the coming of Europeans that brought us together. If you go memory lane down the history of Cameroon,
so why they continue saying the French Cameroon and the English Cameroon?
Please, Phil, allow me to speak.
You have the floor.
Give me some.
You have the floor.
What I am saying is that national unity and national integration is good, but it should not be triggered by a crisis so that people should live from one area and abandon their families there to go and settle in other areas and become slave laborers or plantation laborers. The crisis...
You are in Yaoundé. Are you a slave in Yaoundé?
No, I am not saying that. I was in Yaoundé before the crisis erupted. I'm a civil servant, But many people who have found themselves here is because of the crisis. They didn't come to Yaoundé out of their own will. It's because of the crisis that they came here. We want a situation where the whole of Cameroon should be in peace, so that if you decide to leave Bafut and come to settle in Yaoundé, it should be a peaceful, it should be something that comes from the heart, not because you are running away from your village to come and settle in Yaoundé or a Bolowa or a Bafia and so on and so forth. Phil, let me just tell you something. My sister just talked about, she talked about the social reforms or social infrastructure that President Biya has brought to solve this problem.
The government.
And that is where I disagree with my CPD and brothers and sisters from the Northwest. You don't solve a political problem using social reforms. The crisis in the Northwest is a political problem. It's a political crisis, and it can only be addressed politically. Let me tell you, Ma, before the advent of this crisis, the northwest and southwest regions had the most developed villages in Cameroon.
Of course.
In terms of social infrastructure. Our problem is not really the social infrastructure that people talk about.
If this development actually was there and you recognize why they continue.
The problem is an identity problem, a political problem. And the bone of contention came in 1984. Phil will always talk about 84. Because you don't know the implications of that constitutional amendment. That constitutional amendment is like it sodomized British Southern Cameroonians or Anglophones. Because it made us not to have any identity in this country. In 1972, after the referendum of 1972, the name of Cameroon was changed from Federal Republic of Cameroon to United Republic of Cameroon. Anglophones accepted because they took part in the referendum. But in 1984, that constitutional amendment changed the name from United Republic of Cameroon to Republic of Cameroon. And we know that that Republic of Cameroon was the name that French Cameroon had when it gained independence in 1st January 1960. So Anglophones felt that with the removal of that adjective United, it meant that Anglophones were no longer part of Cameroon. Francophones were on their own. And that is why Goroji Dinka took that decision to rename that part of Cameroon as Ambazonia. We should go back and question it. Look, when that constitutional amendment was carried out, let me tell you something. You are here to learn. You're
telling Cameroonians. Yes, you're not telling me.
Yes.
You're talking to the public.
When that constitutional amendment was carried out, S.T. Muna was the Speaker of the National Assembly. Fonangwafa was a member of the Constitutional Laws Committee, and the minister in charge of relations with the assemblies was Chongwai and Wunti. These three ministers were not allowed to do a reading of that text. They were taken aback They were surprised themselves when that constitutional amendment was brought to Parliament. They were not allowed, they were not given a free hand, you know, to read it, analyze it, and then question it. Northwest and Southwest members of Parliament at that time, they protested to no avail, but it was forced through because of the one-party system that we had at that time. We are saying that President Biya's decision to change the constitution in 1984 is responsible for this crisis and is responsible for the radicalization of Ayok Tabe and the rest. I want to tell you, Phil, that Ayok Tabe has shown his presence. I was there on Saturday the 20th. We went to visit him as a church. We went and visited all of them. They are looking fine and they have not budged from their position. You know,
that's just an indication that the government of Cameroon do respect some of the consideration terms.
No, but he is still. It shows that he remains.
You have some few seconds.
Yes,
wrap up.
He remains an indispensable interlocutor to bring peace in our Northwest and Southwest regions. If we don't dialogue with him and his team, we are nowhere to be found.
Thank you very much. We are coming to the end of this first phase of the program. Of course, I'll come to you, Chi Dieudonné. You are not satisfied. You have a lot to say. You are moving left and right now. Tell us, we need to find a lasting solution to the issue. Is this detention total solution, or if not, what actually are you proposing to those who are watching us or to the authorities that be to make sure that Cameroonians do return in those two regions complete peace and tranquility?
I will I endeavor to be very fast to comment on some few issues and just answer your question very rapidly. First of all, to say that the referendum of 1972 was an act of political dupery. It was an act of political dupery because a referendum in a one-party political system actually made no sense, because a one-party political system simply means that we have one political idea. And once Ahijo had decided that they were going this way, that is the way they were going. And Foncha and Bernard Fonlong and others, they resisted that referendum. Unfortunately, they were pushed out. They got frustrated, and we know before Foncha resigned in 1990, he wrote his letter of frustration. That referendum was an act of political dupery. A referendum in a one-party political system makes absolutely no sense. They were just going there to confirm what they have decided. Having said that, I want to disagree with this notion of the CPDM saying we win elections in the Northwest and Southwest. I think the CPDM is using this Anglophone crisis issue as some kind of political business, because we have a lot of them that do not enjoy any political legitimacy, that happen to find themselves in the National Assembly and in the Senate now because the elections are not unfolding in the Northwest and Southwest regions like they normally supposed to unfold.
One of the
I worked as a polling agent in the Northwest and Southwest, so I talk with authority in this particular matter. In my polling station, 4 people voted, 4 registered voters. Ghost town, people were not moving, that we were surprised at the thousands of voters that you people were able to show. And I want to challenge the Director General of Elecam to bring out the minutes of the elections and prove to us
we are not in the era of election.
I want to think that my mother should not deviate from her position as a mother and begin to tell lies in public. Now, having said that, talking about the solution, we have to be very precise. Freeing people or keeping people in jail because of an issue that has got to do with the dignity of a people is not a solution. Even freeing the Ayok Tabe and others is not a solution.
But that's what they're asking for.
It is a step to a solution.
If they are appealing at the Supreme Court,
to a solution.
That's what they are asking for.
And we should not just stop around Ayok Tabe and others, the Naira 10 as they call them. There are so many others that are involved and which have to be freed as a step to a solution. And this, when you free them, it is part of the prerequisite to put in place the conditions that are necessary for that much awaited sincere dialogue for people to talk. And you don't dialogue with somebody by compelling the person to abandon his stance. It means you want to make him a coward before you talk to him. Let those that say that they are for secession come to the table. I'm telling you, and I'm taking the challenge. I can defend the unity. I'm talking to our viewers. I can defend the unity of this country.
I can defend the unity of this country. If the CPDM does not have arguments of Cameroon being together, let them decline that they cannot defend the unity of the country. Me sitting there, I can defend the unity of this country in front of Ayuk Tabe, in front of anybody. But let us be able to talk as brothers and focus on the human being, because whatever you're calling country, this country up, country down, for how long do we have to stay on earth to talk about country? For the very few years we have here, we have to focus on the human beings, those that are living. How are they living? We're talking about development up and down, up and down. But you know that Cameroon is very far back. The development that Cameroon has achieved nationwide is infinitesimally small compared to the potential of Cameroon and the potential of the Northwest. I'm still seeing the mention for there. People are still turning around. They don't want to develop it. You people had to wait for people to die before you people start running around with the ring road, which was a project since 1997 that President Paul said he will personally supervise the construction. You people had to wait for people to die before they come and put regional councils, and which we are going to enter there. You people now contain yourselves having regional councils after people have died before they put it down. It's unfortunate, and it should not be happening in a country where a leader has ruled for 43 years.
Thank you
it means that all what they want is in power for its own sake, and we cannot be caressing President Paul by not telling him the truth or by lying to him like some of those elites that were sent to the Northwest and Southwest. They have failed the Northwest and Southwest. They came back to the head of state and probably lied to the head of state. They didn't tell the head of state that it is not moving. That when the chairman Victor Fruity, my spiritual father, met the head of state in 2017, he dragged his hand and told him, President Paul it's not moving in the Northwest. Thank you very much. It is not going. Thank you very much. People are lying to you. Thank you very much. And so we are saying that we have to be released as part of the prerequisites to create conditions for a sincere dialogue. Their release in itself will not be a solution. Their release should not be seen as a favor, but a step towards a sincere dialogue to permit Cameroonians regain their dignity as a people. Live together as brothers who have very short time on earth to stay and who have the obligation to love one another.
There are so many reactions, of course.
9 years.
Yeah,
produce nothing.
Yeah, Rajin Takere, we'll come back to you. Let's get some of the reactions. There are so many of them, but due to time constraints, we just take a few of them. This is somebody writing us from Gabon. Good evening to you people over there. Please permit me to ask this question to my fellow Anglophones. Are we still in the United Republic of Cameroon after close to 60 years of unification, or we are in a Republic du Cameroun? We are in La République du Cameroun. And if we are in La République du Cameroun now, then why? Where is our place? Where is our right? Mr. Journalist Seseko Ayuk Tabe were right, and as far as they are still in prison, the resistance will never end. This is chopped from fire from Gabon. Of course, we are not here to promote violence. No. We are here to promote peace and stability. And if you are out of the country and you believe that you have an intention to return back home and continue with your family or existing with your family, you need to also to promote peace. The messages are so many of them. Somebody is writing us from Bamenda. Good evening, dear panelists. I'm happy for this program. I just want to believe that such programs should continue on Info Television. This is my first time watching this. Thank you, and keep going with the good work. Thank you very much. No name, no signing. Thank you very much for your participation. Somebody is writing us from France. Good evening, dear panelists. Thank you very much for such an elaboration and edification. But what I just want to say is Cameroon continues to remain our father's land, and we need to promote peace. We need to work hard to make sure that we preserve national unity and promote living together. That's who somebody is writing. The person is named Parfait. Okay, thank you very much, Parfait from France. You're writing us from Lyon, France. I'll come back to you. The messages are so many of them, but due to time constraints, we cannot take all of them. I'll come back to you. From the CPDM, Takere Geraldine, a solution to actually this problem at hand.
That's why I'm telling my young son, you are still a young man. Don't be too hyper for this problem. I have told you guys that for the solution, that for me, as a mother, I believe that they should peacefully have a negotiation and release those people from jail. And we should have
another national dialogue. You are opting for another national dialogue because you had another one. You had one in 2019, but
it didn't work.
Okay,
so I'm very happy. I'm very happy
because this is 9 years. We keep on having all this burning, killing. It doesn't change nothing. The only thing I believe that we should do, they should peacefully release Ayuk and the others, and then.
But don't you think the law should prevail rather than releasing him under without any
there should be
justification?
justice, but we should first of all peacefully release them, and we have some dialogue peacefully and a peaceful negotiation.
Thank you
then
very much.
from there, I think there will be peace that will reign in Cameroon.
Phil, a good arrangement is better than a good court judgment. A good arrangement between parties.
Your final last word. We are coming to the end of this.
It's better than a court judgment. What I am saying is that, in addition to what my sister has said and what Dieudonné has said, all of us are for the fact that dialogue, be it national or an internationally mediated dialogue, is what is important now. Thabo Mbeki opted to facilitate a dialogue between the government of Cameroon and the separatists, but President Biya turned it down. That is a very bad sign for Cameroon. We need a dialogue.
Must an outsider dictate what should manifest in Cameroon? You think it's
no, they don't go and dictate in their own country.
No, he proposed the AU.
They should dictate in our country.
The AU,
president.
The AU proposed that former heads of state of Africa should help Cameroon government, not to dictate, to help the Cameroon government to facilitate a dialogue between the government of Cameroon.
So you are telling us that the problem is above the state of Cameroon?
It is not that it is above the state of Cameroon. No. You cannot live as an island. There is no person that lives like an island. Even as a
solution,
the solution first, a national dialogue, which is sincere, inclusive, reconciliatory, without preconditions, and should be preceded by the release of all detainees related to the Anglophone conflict. That is the first thing. Secondly, President Biya should do everything possible to go to these two regions and caress his children. You are the you cannot be the president of Cameroon and two regions have been fighting for 9 years and you are just there. You move, you go to Switzerland, you go to Mvomekabo, you cannot go to the northwest and southwest regions. It means that you don't recognize the children that are fighting in those regions.
The Prime Minister has been going there.
The Prime Minister is not him. It is the President of the Republic that Cameroonians elected, not the Prime Minister.
Thank you very much, Angwa. Thank you very much, Angwa Lawson, for your intervention.
I wanted to end by saying that, you see, the greatest enemies of dialogue in this nation, as far as the Anglophone crisis is concerned, are CPD and militants from the northwest and southwest region who have blocked all forms of. You can't
cast your blame on certain people who have their own political ideologies. Thank you very much for your intervention. Thank you very much for your intervention. Thank you very much for your intervention. Of course, we've come to the end of the first phase of this program. We have another phase which is coming up. Of course, we'll be talking about the regional election, as no woman was being elected as president of the various members of the various regional assembly in the country. Of course, is it actually a coincidence or an exclusion? This is going to be our second topic in the course of the program. But before we divert directly to what we have for you, or dive into the insight of this, let's do have this transitional break, and we'll be back in a jiffy. Thank you once more for joining us. Of course, we have a second topic, which of course is talking about the president of president of the regional assembly. Of course, no woman was being elected as a president, and certain people are not comfortable, as they are feminists who are, of course, not comfortable with such a situation, while others think it was being done by those who think the people who were being elected as president were, of course, ready and, of course, competent to man this position. We commence with you're the lone female on this very set, Geraldine Takeren. You are from the CPDM. You've worked a lot, as we earlier said. You have a wonderful political coup when it comes to politics, maintaining peace and stability in Cameroon. You've been working with the authorities that be in the country. Now, to you, you are a woman, and you are also one of the top members of the CPDM party and an elite from the Northwest region. Now, tell us, do you think this position of not electing a president as a woman, as president of the regional assembly in Cameroon, all over the 10 regions in the country, is something worthy of appreciation?
No, there's no problem on that. In our African culture as a whole, men is always ahead of women. Women have always been having their second position. And this original thing just came in just 5 years ago. This is the first mandate that we are going to the second mandate. Women are very contented to be in second position. We always sit on the second position. I, in person, as a woman, I will tell you, I congratulate Bia to give that position for men. We don't have problem to be second position.
But they were being voted, and it was They were voted. As it just started, we'd like that our men should be ahead and the woman is in second position. We don't have any problem to be in second position. We are very contented with our second position. Geraldine Takere, you come to discover that there are certain declarations from other women who would keep telling you that they want women to participate in top positions as men today. They are talking about gender equality. And we have even Ministry of Women Empowerment and the Family today in the country are governed by a woman. It is a ministry. We have other ministries, Ministry of Secondary Education, governed also by a woman, Professor Nalova Lyunga. Don't you think the absence of a woman to man this very position, which of course is another form of promoting decentralization in the country, is a problem?
It's not a problem. It's not a problem because, as you said, Ministry of Higher Education is loaned by is a woman that is the minister. We has given ministerial position to women, even director generals. So we are contented to be second because a woman is the one that have the house. If there is no women, bring peace in the house, and women take care of children and grown up the children very well. If the man is there, the man has to be the top, and the woman is coming the second. And we are very contented for our second position because there are positions that Bia has given women. There are so many women who is director generals, and then you have women who are ministers. Scientific research is a minister, Madame Madeleine. So I don't think there's any problem on that. We are very contented on it, and it just started. Maybe tomorrow I myself I can stand for president.
Are you talking from are you talking from a mother standpoint?
I'm talking from a mother standpoint.
Not a politician.
Like a politician, as a woman, we are very contented with our second position. We are always on second position, and we like the second position. We don't have no problem on that.
Thank you very much, Takere Geraldine, for such an edification to those who are watching us in Cameroon and across the borders of Cameroon. I'll come to you, Ngwa for today. No woman is elected as a president of the regional assembly. Do you think that this is a gender-based discrimination? Do women don't have the competence to man this position? Why were they excluded?
The quick answer to this question is that, you know, the absence of women in the regional councils is not a coincidence. It is an exclusion. And it is an exclusion because, you know, Cameroon has ratified international instruments.
Is it discrimination?
It is discrimination. It's gender-based discrimination.
But it was an election.
Where?
They elected the men.
Why were women?
The men were elected.
Please, let me come. Cameroon is a signatory to international instruments that empower women. We have, for example, the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women that was signed in 1979, and Cameroon is a signatory to that convention. That convention makes it very clear that women should be given to be open to all socio-economic and political positions in all organizations. We are equally signatories to the Maputo Protocol. You know, even our constitution in section 18, the Constitution of 1996, states that the government should do everything possible to make sure that women have women have there's gender balance between men and women.
No, for Lawson, this actually wasn't an appointment. It was not an appointment. It was an election, and of course, it was not an election that requires a general suffrage. It was being dedicated, or it was being reserved for certain particular category of people who, of course, are councillors, and of course,
if we are talking about elections in the CPDM. In this regional election, I'll tell her it wasn't an election, because
it was an election.
Please let me come. You know, all those who, you know what happened in the South region, where the culture in the CPDM is that of sealed envelopes. When after a major elections, when they want to select,
we have vice president.
When they want to, please,
South.
Please, please. When they want to select,
so I don't know what you are.
Why can the sealed envelopes not equally put women at the fore?
There was no sealed envelope.
There was a sealed envelope from the there was a sealed envelope from the Central Committee that said that Mr. Bikoro should be the president of the regional council. But when it came to the elections, the councillors, the regional councillors of the South region, said that no, they were not for Bikoro, they were for Ndo, for Eric Ndo, and they violated. You know, they kept aside the directives. The directives from the Central Committee and voted for no.
Don't forget
instead of voting for.
They have said that he count on women and youth.
Then why were they kept
a lot
out?
of opportunity to women, because
let me give you,
women in assembly. A lot of women in assembly.
Phil, let me give you some. Let me give you some statistics. Let me give you some statistics that show that the Cameroon government is a gender discriminatory government against women. Let me give you some statistics.
When you make such a statement, but during the inaugural speech of President Pobia on November 6th, it is being implemented, and there are certain positions in Cameroon who have
allow me to give statistics.
You have the floor.
Yes, you know, we have in the defense and security forces, be it in the Navy, the Army, the Air Force. There is no woman who is a general from 1960 right up to now. In the prefectural corps, there is no female governor from 1960 right up to now. We have in the constitutional organs, there are 6 constitutional organs in this country. None is headed by a woman since independence. If we have to go to the ministry, to all the ministers, we have 67 ministers. Out of the 67 ministers, only 11 are women, constituting 16.7%. The population of women in Cameroon is 52%, as against 48 for men. And why is it that women have a lower representation? The United Nations instruments say that there should be a 50-50 parity for representation between men and women. But the United Nations Economic and Social Council even stepped it down and said, okay, in all appointments, let them even come down to 30%. But even with that, the government of Cameroon does not see women as being fit enough.
But the women are not complaining.
We are not complaining.
Who tells you that they are not complaining?
I'm congratulating
no, say that you. Say that you.
Giving to us.
Say that you.
PNT, who is the minister, a woman.
Say that you as an individual.
Who is the minister, a woman. What do you want? We don't complain.
No, say that you as an individual.
We are contented.
There are 200 I counted 279 state corporations, and I identified the number of women who occupy posts of board chair, director general, and assistant director general in 207 state corporations and public establishments. It is women occupy only 16%.
We don't complain. We are contented.
It is not a matter of complaining.
Yes,
it is a matter of. Say that you don't complain, but other women complain.
They don't complain.
It's not a matter of complaining.
Thank you very much.
A United Nations instrument.
Thank you very much.
Says that women should have an equal and balanced, distribution.
That's actually what we have done.
Do you believe a woman actually can man the position of a regional assembly as a president and take control of each and every aspect when it concerns development?
If a woman can
are they ready?
If a woman can be a general, why she should not be? There are women who are mayors. There are women who are mayors.
Why do you say there are no women in power?
We are saying that the percentage of 30% should be respected. We are not saying that there are no female mayors in Cameroon. There are, out of the 360 councils in Cameroon,
women,
only 37 are headed by women.
Women are not complaining. Bia has given a lot of opening for us women.
Say that
and
you
praising him.
Say that you are not complaining. Don't say that women are not complaining.
He has given to women.
No. Don't say that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Angwala.
Say that you are not complaining.
Thank you very much, Angwala. So now I come to you, Achijidone. You are a member of the CPDM party and also a SDM rather, a party, and also a communicator from this party. Now tell us, with such an election that recently took place across the national territory, we're talking about the various 10 regions in the country. We see no woman at the helm. Does it give a signal of exclusion, or it is another way of telling Cameroonians that women can actually man positions better off than becoming a president of a regional assembly?
Well, I want to start by thanking my mother, who recognized the fact that I am young. And I want to kindly remind my mother that at one point in time, when the Israelites were faced with Goliath, they needed a young David. And you can be very sure that you are having a young David in front of you. And we are ready. I personally, I am ready to stand at the forefront to restore the dignity of this country, and without fear. That said, to comment on these regional elections and the outcome, which is was almost a 100% CPDM affair. I want to first of all state that we noticed
you had the opportunity to go in for the election.
We noticed, please. We noticed,
are you not the opportunity to go in for the elections?
We choose not to go for the elections because it's an indirect suffrage, and we know the political realities of the ground. They were not favorable for us to go for that election, but that is not.
That's what you are saying. That's not what the law is saying, and that's not what actually what does
the law say? The law does not compel anybody to go for an election to be candidate in an election.
So you deliberately decided not to be part and parcel of it, so you can't complain.
No. Who is complaining? You want me to comment on a reality? I want to comment the reality.
You have the floor. Some few
Having said, I want to say that the regional election, which was almost a 100% CPDM affair, when it was done, at the end of the day, when they were putting in place the executive, we discovered, and some CPDM people cried foul, that in the northwest and southwest regions particularly, the media was sent out of the hall during elections. And this was a gross violation of the law.
Is that a propaganda or a confirmation from you?
Because council sessions
is that a propaganda or a confirmation?
It's on newspapers. It's on newspapers, sir. It's on newspapers, sir. And some CPDM elites have been crying foul about it. That the media was sent out of the hall. They are not satisfied with the result.
That's very lie. That's not true.
No. You cannot say it's a lie. I have evidence to show you.
That is not
I have evidence to show you from a CPDM elite who may be a senior to you in the party.
If you can bring it,
there is no problem.
I'll be very
there is no problem.
I don't think.
Right on.
There is no problem. I'll show you.
Right on.
I'll show you.
Right on, Chijidone.
I'll show you if you want to.
Right on, Chijidone.
So, election.
Right on, Chijidone. You have the floor.
The media was reportedly sent out in the, to stop from covering the elections of the executive of this different regional councils, which is very, very unfortunate because it's a gross violation of the law, and it says it all that the CPDM is highly it's a very, very tough mafia. They don't want the media to even cover elections. Having said that, with respect to the women now, whether it is exclusion or it is a coincidence, I would say it is the two. Exclusion because the directives, I did not see or hear about any directive that came from the CPDM Central Committee that recommended that a woman be elected.
That is it.
Well, my mother says they are contented. All right, it's their right. And I want to say that the women in the CPDM who do not agree with my mother should start thinking twice and know where they are going to. And the SDF is ready to welcome them. She said that they were very contented. There was no directive from the CPDM Central Committee recommending the election of a woman. That is an exclusion, which means for now, they as the party, they have not seen any woman competent to be a regional president. Right. Now, it becomes a coincidence because apart from the singular case of Kati Meba in the south, who
happens to be a niece of the President of the Republic.
No, it's not that.
It's not what?
It's not that. She stand as a candidate.
No, I've not said she did not stand.
And she won as a vice president.
I've not said she did not stand. I'm simply analyzing her anthropology. I'm simply analyzing her anthropology. I said, well, I want people to understand who I'm talking about. Apart from
Katimeba stand for that position.
I didn't say she did not stand, man.
No woman was willing to stand.
I did not say she did not stand.
Just started with the
I did not say she did not stand.
Yes, I'm going. Women will come over.
I did not say she did not stand. I did not say she did not stand. I did not say she did not stand.
Katiwan because it's the president cousin. No.
I did not say she did not stand.
No. Our president is a man of unity and peace. He has given us a lot, and you guys are ungrateful. We should be thankful to have him. I don't think your government can. What your government cannot rule as our own president. He's a man of peace, a man of unity, a man that one Cameroon should be one Cameroon. There should be no separation.
President Paul Biya at his age now.
One Cameroon should not be decreased.
President Paul Biya
from love and justice.
President Paul Biya at his age.
80% of Anglophoners understand that where they were leading to was not correct. All of them have come.
No, we are not there now. We are on regional elections. Can I speak?
You have the
President Paul Biya at his age does not need those praises. You people have praised him like that for 43 years. You said he was the most handsome. He's doing everything. Yes, of course.
It's wisdom.
Beyond wisdom, the age is grace. And it is a special grace because not everybody is a beneficiary of that. And that is why we have the responsibility to assist President Paul Biya make good use of that special grace of God upon his life. And like I told you, that don't look at people simply because they are young, because sometimes you may be facing a David, and sometimes we need just a David to bring down a Goliath. President Paul Biya may need a David now, just like Saul needed a David.
So, do you think
what we are saying? What I'm saying is that apart from
very clear. Yes. Do you think the women in Cameroon do have the capacity to man that position?
Of course, they have. They have. And so I just want to continue from where I ended to say that apart from Katimeba, who happens to be a niece of the President of the Republic, who I overheard on social media had intentions to be a regional president in the South, I discovered that all over in the other 9 regions, no other woman rose up that she wants the position. That is why I said, first, it was exclusion because no directive came from the Central Committee recommending a woman. Secondly, it becomes a coincidence.
Tell me that the women that are propriétaire in the assembly is the Central Committee that recommends.
We are on regional councils.
Women that they are.
We are on regional councils.
We are senators.
Don't take us out of our debate.
The Central Committee, they do the election. And when they elect, you want the.
Mother, can I have my time to talk? When you were talking, I was listening. We are on regional elections. We are not in parliament. You know how the regional executives are put in place. You know the directives your Central Committee sent. Can I comment the directives? Okay. In those directives, there was none that recommended a woman being elected. So it was an exclusion. They did not see a woman capable.
I will tell you no. I will tell you
it's
no.
your right to say no.
Yes.
It's your right to say no.
We heard that.
And I respect it. Please, can you respect my own right of calling it an exclusion? Can you respect my own right of calling it an exclusion? I respect yours. Yeah. And I'm saying that look, it is an exclusion. Now, it becomes a coincidence because, apart from Katimeba, I did not see women in the other regions who also stood up, because we saw people who even violated the recommendations of the Central Committee, and they stood up and they won election.
Why didn't they have the
We didn't see women of the CPDM from other regions who rose up to say, no, we don't want to be candidates. Maybe they are contented, like Ma was saying. Maybe they are contented. You people are contented. That's good.
Women regionals. You are regionals women, right?
Good. You people are contented.
What are you talking about?
You people are contented. You are speaking for yourself. You are speaking for yourself and those you know. You are speaking for yourself and those you know. And I'm saying that those that think that they are not contented, they should know that if I want to rely on your statements as a policy of the CPDM, those that are still in the CPDM or who think that they can sympathize with the CPDM but who are not contented with the status quo should know where they are going to. I think women are capable, but I also think that women need to stand up for what they believe is theirs. I don't want to go into issues of appointments because the legal provisions are there that we can comment on all that, but we focus on elections. And when it comes to elections, there comes a time where you have to claim the right which is yours. Get up and say, I want to be, and it's time for the women to rise up and demand for what they believe is truly theirs. I'm not one of those who think that people should be in position simply because they are women. People should be in position simply because they are young people. People should be in
SDF. Have they refused you guys?
Pardon?
Why is it that women are regional? Are they not regional?
No.
Must there be only president in our African country? We believe that our men is ahead of women. Women are there to keep peace in the house and to bring the family together. And we are contented with our second position. That's what I'm telling you. There is no woman that has complained. We have women that are regional. We have women that are parliamentarian. We have women that are senators. So what are you?
Well, in the SDF, we don't have a first position for men and a second position for women. In the SDF, we preach equal opportunity. We preach equity. And it should not be surprising that someday a woman will be the national chairman of the SDF. We believe that a woman can. We believe that everybody can. So far as they are dedicated to a cause and they are able to stand up and say, yes, we want this, it is okay. They should be able to have that. So
why is it that a woman is not vice chairman in your SDF party?
You should also be asking me the question.
And why is it that a woman that was vice president National Assembly?
You should be,
why do you guys don't have vice president, vice chairman in SDF?
Why is it that you have not asked me the question? Why is it that why did you not ask me the question? Why is it that the SDF has had female secretary generals when you in the CPDM have never had a secretary general?
Who tell you?
As a woman.
As a woman.
Secretary General of the CPDM Central Committee.
Of the Central
Committee. Was it the Secretary General of the CPDM Central Committee?
Thank you.
We have had Secretary Generals in the SDF of the party. And the Secretary General is a fundamental position in the administration of the party. You know how political parties are run. You know you cannot play with the role of the Secretary General. The late national chairman, Nijon Frundi, may so rest in peace, trusted women. He entrusted positions of responsibility to women, including that of Secretary General, and we still remain in that dynamics. We believe in equal opportunity. Where a man can sit, a woman can also sit. But a man should not sit there simply because he's a man, and a woman will not sit there simply because she is a woman. But because they have proven that they are worthy and can sit there, then they should have that opportunity.
Thank you very much.
I'm saying that they should rise for the opportunity. The women should stand for the opportunity. I saw Katimeba courageously stand up. I'm not of the CPDM, but I appreciated the fact that she was courageous enough to voice those intentions.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Atidule. Thank you, Geraldine Takere. I'll come to you, Ngwalauson. Do you think that women should be trusted enough to handle this position or avoid issue of male dominance?
Please, I have confidence in many women. There are many positions in this country that if they were held by women, there will be changes. Yes, because women are better managers. Women are better managers. They know how to manage financial resources. When women are in certain positions of trust, it is difficult to corrupt them.
That's the trust that has given to us women.
It is difficult. Then why you are not understanding what we are saying. We are saying
that's your own point of view. Each and every person has his or her own point of view, and you cannot contradict our own point of view. She has, and you are.
I'm calling for women to rise to positions of authority in this nation. I know that one of the problems that women raise is that of poverty and accessibility to other resources, funding, and so on and so forth. But they should keep trying. And the day, I can support a woman to stand as president of the republic. And in the last election, we saw the courage of Madame Damjoya, which was very appreciable. I want to end by saying
why the Belgium rejected her.
I want to end by saying that
Geraldine Takere has a flaw.
I want to end by saying that the last index, the gender inequality index of 2025, Cameroon is ranked 155 out of 177 nations. It doesn't speak well for us as a nation. These are rankings that are done by international organizations.
Those are international organizations, of course, and those are international organizations, and of course, the country do have its own organizations and morals, how to organize things in this country.
If our image is poor, how to invest?
Thank you very much. I'll come back to you, Lawson.
We have a poor image abroad. How do we attract investors?
I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you, Lawson.
How do we attract
Lawson? I'll come back to you in a few moments. We are coming to the end of this.
Cameroun should be a gender-friendly nation.
We are coming to the end of this program. Of course, I just want to get your last opinion, Geraldine Takere. Now, we see women not present as a member or president of the various regional assembly today in the country. Now, do you think in the future a solution might come? And do you think that a woman is capable of manning this position?
We are very contented to be in our second position. The position that we see that is for women in Africa country is second position. We always stand on our second position and we accept that our men should be in first.
But don't you think there are other women out there who are aspiring to have positions of responsibility of this magnitude? Don't you think you are maybe not in line with their own ideologies?
No, there are no women complaining because we have given a lot of opportunity to us women and we really appreciate it.
The presidents of Tanzania and Namibia are women.
You have women that ministers, you have women that in assembly, you have women that are principals. For example, the principals are not only men. You have women that are principals. You have women that are magistrate.
Only 5% of women are principals in Cameroon. 95% of principals in Cameroon are men. That trend should be.
So we appreciate it in our second position as women.
Thank you very much, Geraldine Takere. Your last word, Chijulone. Do you think that gender equality should be, of course, manifested when it comes to positioning both male and female in Cameroon?
Gender equity should be encouraged. Gender equality, when you talk about equality, is kind of very biased. Because sometimes you cannot take a child, and you say yes, because it's a human being, he's not equal to you. Gender equity should be the right word. We need more of that. And I just want to call on those of the regional councils, particularly those in the northwest and southwest regions. They should always remind themselves that regional councils came to existence because of the so-called Anglophone crisis, and I am still waiting for their position to, with respect to this Anglophone crisis, a formal position from the 10 regional councils. Let them tell us where we stand. Particularly those of the northwest and southwest region who say they have special status now, which is an empty cocoon. Let them tell us where they stand with respect to the Anglophone crisis.
Thank you.
Let the chiefs in the northwest and southwest regions, my fathers, the chiefs, should come out. The President of the Republic talked about community dialogue. Let the chiefs come out with their position as House of Chiefs with respect to the Anglophone crisis, because their children, everybody is suffering. Let the chiefs come out and speak, because if not of this Anglophone crisis, they will not even be in that
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chijolone, for your presence. Thank you very much, Angwa Lawson, for your participation. Thank you, Takere Geraldine, for wonderful participation. I want to believe that those of you who are watching us, you enjoyed the program, and of course, a rebroadcast of this will be yours on Saturday at 4 p.m. and a continuous rebroadcast will be yours on this prestigious channel in Cameroun and Full Television. Thank you very much for being there with us. It has been a blessing for with us here, and we just want to believe that as we are heading towards the festivities, Christmas and New Year, on behalf of the entire staff of Full Television, we want to say Merry Christmas in advance and Happy New Year also in advance. Thank you very much. Keep watching programs on Full TV. From us, we say good night.